Hey everybody, welcome back to Glenn's Garage. Today's video, we're going to be refinishing some aluminum rims. Alright, so these are the aluminum rims we bought to go on the CTS and replace the chrome ones that I haven't liked since we bought it. And whilst they're not in bad shape, there's really little curbing or anything like that. The clear is starting to go in a few places. They're what I believe is referred to as diamond cut, so they spray paint them and then take a cutter on a lathe and run the top surface here. And that always sort of breaks down right at the corners where the paint gets thin. So we're going to sand them down and we're going to refinish them. Now I'm going to show you how I'm doing it. Obviously, as you can see here, there's no tires on these, so good and bad, I don't have to worry about masking off or anything else. I can take the valve stem out and things like that. The downside is I run the risk that someone's going to damage these when they put after I've done all the work and I mount tires on. But we're going to try it this way. I mean, they are what they are. The wheels came like this without tires on them, so I'll show you how I'm going to do the refinishing. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the old weights off so they're out of the way. Obviously they won't work with new wheels, and I'd rather take them off than have somebody at the tire place scraping at them. I'm going to use one of these little plastic razors and just work it into the underneath of the weight here. There we go. Alright. So there's the first weight off. So then we'll go in and we'll scrape the adhesive off. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a quick wipe down with isopropyl alcohol in that area to soften up what's left of the adhesive, and then scrape it off. Okay, that should have softened a little bit that was left. Okay, so here's where it was. Alright, second thing we're going to do is get the valve stem out. I'm not going to be using this because I got tire pressure sensors or TPMS. There's really no proper way of doing this to salvage these in any way. If you just go in, I'm just going to go in rather than pull and heave. I'm going in with a knife and I'm just cutting this off, and then this will just out. Alright, so having done that, first thing I'm doing is I'm sanding down the gray clear coated charcoal sections in here, and I'm just using a 220 grit sandpaper, dry sandpaper, and I'm just going in and scuffing them all up. They're not really damaged. There's a few little marks, but they're not really damaged. So we're just scuffing them up so that the paint will adhere when we redo it. Alright, so just sanding by hand in all these little areas here. Probably going to take about an hour and a half or so to do one wheel. And at this point I'm sort of wishing I had nice simple little 5 spokes that would be easy to sand instead of all these little intricate details. But it'll be worth it when it's done. They're going to look nice and they're going to look excellent on the car. So alright, so I do have all the charcoal inserts sanded. You can see it's a pretty fiddly wheel. In these areas in here, which are really tight, barely put a finger down there, what I ended up doing was wrapping the sandpaper on a stir stick, wooden stir stick here. So, and then putting that down here to get at it. So that seems to have worked reasonably well. There'll be some corrosion starting on the edge here. And that'll be where someone's mounted tires on and they've just broken the clear. It's just damaged the edge of the clear, so water and everything can get under. But there's no curbing for us, so which is nice here. That saves us that little bit of damage. But what I'm going to do first is go around with a file And I'm just going to break this edge and make sure there's nothing sharp there at all. Okay, so getting ready to do the first painting on the wheels here. I'm giving them a quick cleanup, wipe down. I'm just going over with a Scotch-Brite pad now on the aluminum here to take out any little sanding marks that would have come from the orbital sander. I use 220 grit on the orbital, by the way, if anyone was interested. Alright, so first job, tack cloth. Same thing you'd use to paint the car. So we're just going to wipe the whole thing down in here and then flip it over and do underneath. Get off as much as we possibly can here. And then we can move on to doing a degrease on it. Alright, so done the first tack down. I'm going to use a degreaser now. Again, same stuff I use when I'm painting the cars. So we're going to wipe the whole wheel down with the degreaser, give it another quick tack down, and then we'll be ready to apply a fine coat of paint on it. Alright, so it's all degreased, all ready to go. What I've done is I've actually cut out a cardboard circle that sits under here, and I've got it sitting on a house paint tin. So the cardboard circle is held up against the back of the hub mounting surface, and that'll stop overspray going down on the inside of the rim. I've cut out a little spray template here that'll sit under the rim, so when I spray this I don't get a lot of spray on the outside either, just because. So I think we're ready to try a light coat of silver on it now, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, coat number one, light coat on, let it dry 5-10 minutes, and we'll throw a second coat, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so put 2 coats on. Actually quite pleased with that. It's got a nice aluminum look without trying to look too, for me, looking too flashy or too much like I'm trying to make chrome out of it. Alright, so it's a day later, paint's dried now, it's had 24 hours. We're going to start masking off the parts that I want to keep silver, so when we shoot the darker accent color on the wheel. Alright, so this is how I'm going to do it. That's my first time doing a 2-tone wheel, so I've got some, what is that, basically 2-inch wide masking tape here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to mask off right the way across here. And cut that there. Alright, I'm not going to show doing the whole thing, obviously. You're just going to mask it off. But then what we're going to do, I'm going to use a very tiny little razor. And yes, I know this has a handle and I can't find it, so I'm doing it without a handle. And we're just going to go in and trim the edges here. Alright, so that's really it. Just, it's fiddly. We're going to have to go in and do each one of these like this. Alright, so that's what it looks like. All ready to go. The last thing I'm going to do is I've made some little discs to drop down here, cardboard ones. And I'm going to drop these down here so they cover where the lug nut seats, that 60-degree angled surface, because I don't want paint on there. I don't want that messing up the torque or grinding away at the paint as you tighten those bolts up. I'd like them to just be the clear aluminum that is there now. So I'm going to drop these in, leave them in through this paint process and the clear coat, and then I'll just pop them out afterwards. Okay, that's 2 coats on now, so we're just going to let it dry and then we'll take the tape off. Alright, so we're now time to paint the clear coat onto the wheels. Getting all my clear coat stuff ready. I'm going to shoot it with my spray gun because I have lots of clear. Clearly I could buy a 2K clear in a rattle can and shoot it that way. But I'm going to try just with the gun. I'm all set up here. So we're going to get on, shoot clear on these 4 wheels, and then we'll see what they actually look like. Okay, so here's the finished cleared wheel. I'll sort of show you here. I'm not sure how much you'll actually see on the video. Didn't come out too bad. I might do a slight wet sand just on the silver spokes and polish there. But that's what they're going to look like. So next time I show them, they'll hopefully be sitting on the car with tires on them. So there are the wheels fitted on the car, new center caps, new lug nuts. So that came out pretty nice. I'm quite pleased with the refinishing process on those. I'm not saying they're the last wheels this car will have by any means, but it's an improvement over the bad chrome ones that were on there when we bought it. Alright, so that's how I refinish the wheels. I hope the video was helpful to you, maybe gave you a couple of clues if you're going to do your own wheel refinishing. As always, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, a like or a subscribe would be awesome, much appreciated, and I hope I see you back here in the garage. Drive safe, everybody.